Let's see here. All right. All right. Infinite mirror. All right, just checking here. Okay. Testing 1, 2, 3. Okay. Guess I'll wait another minute or so before we get started here. Hard to actually see how many people are on the stream. Oh, I guess I could probably do this. Maybe not that. Do I have a... I feel like I need a thing. I'll be able to see this chat here. Okay. All right, everybody. So as you might be able to tell, this is my first YouTube live here. So, oh, I think I can hear myself through my own machine. Let me mute that. So I'm going to have to be hopping back and forth between the chat here. Oh, I guess I'll delete that there. Okay. So we're going to be doing these more frequently. And the aim is to kind of give a, kind of a quick little bite-sized chunk of like how you use the platform. Anyone who's been following along our journey has probably noticed that we actually started with much more complex things, and we're actually working from the complex to the simple. So what you're looking at here is a map of Bitcoin. I have a couple of different maps open here: Bitcoin, Cardano, Polkadot. So I'll explain, kind of what these are at a high level for anyone who might be new to our project here. And then explain some basic things about how you might go about using this particular feature of our product, which is the Maps tool. We also have feeds that are a little bit simpler to look at and a little bit better for things like evangelism and community management. That's some of the stuff we'll be going over actually in one of our calls tomorrow. And then we also have profile views as well, which is where you can go when you're doing due diligence on a project or an influencer and you want to understand, okay, well, they have 500,000 followers, but are they real or not? There's all different kinds of ways you can kind of analyze to see, sort of the quality of a following. And, at a core, our platform is all about giving you X-ray vision for social media. It's really hard to have a context for what's really happening in the conversation when you're just scrolling through Twitter or Reddit. So what we try to do is really give anyone the tools to be able to zoom out and get an aerial perspective of what's really going on. And one of the first things that we did, and one of the kind of original inspirations of the platform here, was mapping social media conversations. And that's one of the things we're going to talk about today a little bit, is the maps. So like I mentioned earlier, what we're looking at here is a map of Bitcoin. And the maps we run are at essentially at a topic level. We select a few different keywords. So in Bitcoin's case, it would be Bitcoin, as you might imagine, but also hashtag BTC and hashtag BTC, and a few other sort of Bitcoin specific keywords. And what that does is open real-time streams across multiple social networks and then chart the different conversations that are happening in a topic here. So all these different dots that you're looking at, they all mean different things. It's color coded. So the light blue here is the actual tweet or post. So right now we're pulling in Twitter, but eventually we'll be pulling in Reddit, Telegram, Discord, YouTube, and be able to plot this in the same way here. So this light blue are posts, the red are the users that made the posts or interacted with the posts, purple are hashtags, dark blue, let me see if we can find one of those, are links, and then yellow is media. And you can actually select all those different element types up here and actually have those labels show up instead. So posts were selected, so you see some post labels. Users are selected, so you see these user labels here. So that's the basics of the color code here, and what you're basically looking at are all the different sort of communities of conversation that are going on across the topic. And a question that we get a lot is like, okay, well, why do groups show up this way? Like, why is Naib in this group, and why are these people in the group with him, and why are these other things in other groups? And the reason is because if the nodes are in the same group, it means they're all interacting with each other. So users that engage with the same posts will show up in the same group. Tweets that use the same hashtags will tend to show up in the same groups. And what you can find there is different sort of communities of engagement. And that's actually one of the sort of the bite-sized piece that I wanted to go over today, is understanding who is actually engaging with something, and if that is more of like an echo chamber, so like more like just that person's followers or just people interested in that one thing, or if it's, you know, engagement that you'd say is sort of across the topic as a whole. So what we call sort of a round table, right? So an echo chamber versus a round table. So we'll find an example of that. So Naib today with El Salvador buying the dip. So we have two different buttons here when we hover over any node: view ego network and view community. So viewing community will view just that group. So essentially, okay, well, we're interested in this group here, and here are all the users and media and links and hashtags that are in this group along with this tweet here. But the one we're going to focus on today is view ego network. So let me actually click. Little fun fact, if you click anywhere on a map that's not the node, it'll take you back to this view here. So I'm going to hover over this again here and click view ego network. So when I click view ego network, what it's going to do is show me all of the different nodes that are connected to the one that I clicked view ego network for. So clicking on this tweet here will show me users that engaged with that tweet. And if you notice here, all these users are all over the place. They're all over the network here, meaning that, you know, essentially across the topic of Bitcoin, people engage with this tweet here. So this is a great example of a post that has a lot of engagement across the topic, rather than, let's find one that's more of an echo chamber here. This looks like it'll probably be an echo chamber. Okay. So if you notice, the only users that are engaging with this tweet here are in that little group there. The hashtags show up because this tweet used those hashtags there. So this is an example of more of a kind of an insulated community here. So not really getting much engagement outside of that one little network there. And in the crypto space, that's really nice because it kind of gives you a sense for when things are like botted or not. So like I'll hop over to the Polkadot map here. And as anyone in crypto Twitter knows, you have a lot of airdrop and giveaways and all those types of things here. So you end up often on the crypto map seeing these massive retweet networks, essentially, of, in this case, Peace Network, tweeting out this airdrop thing and having a bunch of people retweet it here. So, when you see something like this, a lot of times it, you know, throws our eyebrows up a little bit. We're like, that looks a little botted, which is a nice segue over to the next little preview that I'll show you guys. Well, actually, let me come up for air, see if I can see any questions or anything else here. Yes, ask away if you have any questions. I'm going to assume no questions, that I'm going to continue, but there is a question. I'll come back to it in here. Okay, so right off the bat, I'm like, Peace Network, who are these guys? So let's click into them, and I'll give you a little preview of our profile pages that are going to be opening up soon well, actually, I think they're open up right now. So this is where we can see some basic information about the account, right? So obviously their user stuff, idea of their followers and likes and posts over time. And then also these audits. Anybody who's been following along on our Twitter, you see that we run a lot of audits for different accounts. And right now it's interesting what you can expose just by running counts on the following of an account, right? So how many of those followers have 0 followers? Well, 10% in this case. And how many followers are under 10 followers, for example. So you get a sense for, okay, well, how many sort of, maybe like paid for followers does this account have? These guys aren't, haven't really heard of Peace Network before, but let me show you one that's most particularly bad. Let's see, everybody on the team knows where I'm going. We did a little expose on these guys here. And if any of y'all watch this video, then sorry, not sorry, I guess. But anyway, this was an example of like a particularly bad follower audit. If it decides to load, it really was that good. Oh, dang, must not be linked up to here. Well, in any event, this is actually a good demo for anybody new. It's not open to the public just yet. You have to be an admin, but you'll be able to request an audit, and then it'll actually send that request to our system and automatically, start doing the audit. And what it'll return are these basic counts right now and who the top followers are, and let you click into those people as well. And we have a lot of other cool stuff in the hopper in terms of telling you more about who's actually following this account. So what we're most excited about is figuring out which accounts are controlled by the same entity, right? So we might see that someone has 2 or 3 or 400,000 followers, but which percentages of those are probably controlled by one entity, and that gives you an idea of the quality of someone's following, the potential buy pressure on that NFT or that coin, et cetera, et cetera. So all in service of helping, retail crypto and anything above to do any sort of due diligence on the projects, the NFTs, the coins, the influencers, et cetera, et cetera. Let's see, have any, I don't think we have any questions in there so far. Let's see here. So that was basically all I wanted to cover today. Like I said, just want to kind of give bite-sized pieces of info about how to use the different aspects of the tool. So as sort of a recap, we have maps, which give you basically a bird's eye view of the conversations that are happening right now. So instead of being stuck in a one-dimensional scroll on Twitter, you get a sense for how much popularity does something really have, how much spread does something really have across the topic. And that really helps you in terms of finding things that are going viral, things that are emerging. It's easy enough to find the top 10 coins or NFTs once they're big, but the trick is how do you find those opportunities early? And so things like the map, our intention is to make it a lot easier to explore those kinds of things where you can find these emerging projects before they're huge, and you can essentially dig a little bit deeper in terms of, is their engagement real? And that's where the other side of the tool comes in as well, in terms of the due diligence on different accounts, being able to audit accounts and understand, okay, well, they have a large following, but is it a quality following? And maybe they have a smaller following, but it's particularly high quality. And that's actually relatively easy to tell. And so that's what these profile pages are going to be optimized to deliver around. And as a preview for our call tomorrow, what we're going to be doing is talking through this other view, our feed view here, in particular for this evangelist mode that we're launching. So the evangelist mode is designed for both evangelizers for projects and the project's community admins to just make it a lot easier to say, hey, these are the posts we want to amplify as a community. So then the evangelizers can understand, okay, these are the posts, no more chasing around Telegram groups to figure out what should I engage with. And also on the admin side, to just make it a single source of truth, like, okay, these are the posts that our community is going to amplify, and who actually did that, right? So actually reporting on who did what, and leaderboards on who did what and things like that. So just to make it a lot easier for, the community management piece to, to really improve in quality in the crypto space. And actually, I wanted to give a shout out to the Marvin community for that. So the Marvin map, it has always been an interesting thing to look at here. And I'll end on this note here. So if you notice, there's a lot of large users here, and large means they're just, highly relevant in the topic, meaning that they're engaging with a lot of stuff or they're being engaged with, one or the other. Either way, when you look at a community like Marvin's here, you could basically click into any one of these ego networks and see just tremendous connectivity across the entire topic of Marvin Inu here. And so that's really a testament to like a very, like well engaged community that are definitely working hard. So, these are the types of things that we're, kind of hoping to make it easier on both sides to be able to do that. Have a quality community with quality engagement that's easy for the admin and the community and the KOLs and promoters as well. So that call we're actually going to be doing tomorrow, and we'll be sketching out basically, well, more like finalizing the technical requirements for an evangelist mode specifically for that. So without further ado, I think that's all I wanted to talk about today. Like I said, we're going to do this a lot more frequently, whether it's sort of short how-tos, slash product slash community updates on, on what we're working on. We love to get the community a little bit more involved in that process of helping us prioritize what we build out. That's one of the things that led us to the evangelist mode here. So if you're interested in being a part of that call, I believe we're going to be doing it on Discord tomorrow. So feel free to reach out. I think it should be easy enough to just join it. We'll put the info and announcements in general. Other than that, if there's no questions here, then I'm going to call it a day. And this is obviously being recorded on YouTube Live. So if you missed it, you don't have to miss it. You can see it. And if not, like I said, we're going to be doing a lot more of these anyway. So thank you all for the time. Let me know if you have any questions in Discord, Telegram, wherever. Happy to go into more detail on this stuff. If you notice, I kind of move around different things. That's how my brain works. So we'll be producing a lot more tutorial content to make it, I guess, a little bit more step-by-step of how to use the different aspects of the tool. So stay tuned for all that. And again, ask away any questions that you have on how to use this thing. All right, take care.